dear, how are you? I hope you will be fine and be safe. Today we are going to talk about the topic of sociology is the socialization. Socialization is actually very important part in the society. The process of socialization is conditioned by actually culture. We can say that it has the own culture. The ways of the process of socialization also differ from society to society. Man is not only social but also cultural. They are different from the all of the members of the society. Every society prescribes its own ways and means of giving social training to its newborn members so that they may develop their own personality. Okay. um then we if we explain the briefly the concept of socialization. Socialization is actually about little of man's behavior, instinctive, rather, man's behavior is learned behavior. The human child comes to the world as a biological organism with animal needs. He is gradually molded in society into a social being and learns social ways of acting and feeling. And he is gradually molded in the society, and then the continued existence of society becomes impossible without this process. Okay, man is not born social. Actually he becomes then when the sociologists call the socialized. Okay, socialization means the process whereby an individual becomes a functioning members of the society. Okay, when they do their own duties, own rules, own responsibilities, then they become the parts of the society. Okay, man is man because he shared with others a common culture. Okay, and when we will talk about the definition of the socialization, then I have chosen for you the two definitions of the socialization that are most authentic. That is, first one is the Bogardus. He is the theorist. He says that socialization is the process of working together, of developing the group responsibility, or being guided by the welfare needs of the others. Okay, and he's saying actually the when the people are living together, they're actually sharing their responsibilities and sharing the needs of the society so that they can do the welfare for each other. Okay. Okay, then second one is the W.F. Ogborn. He's also a theorist. He says that socialization is the process by which the individual learns to conform to the norms of the groups. Okay, actually he says that when people are living together, there are the some norms and the values that each and every individual has to perform. Each and every individual has to follow that rules, so that's why they are bounded in that limit, and that is actually the process of the socialization that they are following unconsciously. Okay, and then we talk about the process of the socialization. Then that is the every man tries to adjust himself to the conditions of his social environment. The process of adjustment is itself self is socialization. Okay, socialization is the process of transforming the human animal into the human being, of converting the biological being into a social being. As the Kingsley Davis, he is the theorist, he is saying that as an organism has come into internal factors are the forces which limit or help his socialization. These internal forces relevant to the process of the social or socialization. Okay, that is the reflexes and tool instincts. Okay, these are the points that makes the socialization process complete. The second one is the capacities and third one is the comprehension and educability. Okay, it means that how he is working and how he is doing that things. Okay, socialization is the process of socialization is actually a continuous process that is happening with all the uh, pattern of his life, with all of his with all the life of the individuals. Socialization is the process of the inducting the individual into the social world. It consists in teaching culture which she or he must acquire and share the socialization is social learning. The more we try to learn, the more he means to be learn. Man belongs the towards the different groups at the different stages of his life. As these groups change, so we must learn the new rules, new patterns of behaviors. Even though we are members of the society or the family all over the life, we are constantly changing our roles within it, acquiring new roles, dropping or modifying old ones. We begin as a child, pass through the adolescence into the adulthood, marry, become the parents, and enter into the middle age. Okay, here he is saying that with the passage of the time, the roles of the individuals gets alternative, and they have to pass through the different stages for become the more matured, for become the more educated and socialized. Okay, here they are saying that when individual is actually a younger one, then he has to goes through these stages of his life. He has to marry, he has to become parents, and he has to educate their child and modify the his rules and duties that makes them the more mature and socialized, and that change their mentality. Okay, so then we can say that man belongs to the different groups and the different stages throughout his life, and it can change the duties, it can change their mentality. Okay, we can say that throughout our life we are involved into the socialization process. Even at the door of the death, we are being socialized. Okay, the staff of hospital, for example, have a conception of what is a good way of to die. They try to socialize their dying patients into the ways of dying in a proper manner. I hope so that you can understand what I am trying to say. Okay. Then comes the point is timing. Timing is also important in socialization. Physical majority by itself cannot produce the perfect human adults without socialization. Okay. Socialization and mature Asian may proceed together in a Asian is actually a typing mistake. Okay. Don't take a notice on it. Okay, proceed together in the early years of the life cycle. Our attempts to teach the child will have varying effects depending upon the point reached into the maturation of the child. Okay, here we can say that here we are trying to explain that timing is the process, timing is the thing that teach the individual that they have to change with the time and with the years and with the life cycle. Because when the each and every moment of the life is proceeding, it is changing the mentality, it is changing the life manner of the individual, it is changing the thinking situation of the individual, and it is making them the more mature with their life. Okay, for example, we cannot expect the child to be quiet before the capable of sustained inhibition. Okay, it is the example that we cannot expect the little child who is who is at the age of the 5 or 6 to be more mature, to be more educated and mannered boy. And with the passage of the time, all of the individuals become the socialized, become the more mannered and more sophisticated. Okay, then comes the point socialization and the development of the self. With the passage of the time and with the passage of the individuality, the socialization become the more and more emerge in the individual. Okay, when we are talking about the process of the individualization and socialization, it creates the sense of the self. Okay, self is actually very important, that becomes the created in every individual. Okay, the heart of the process of the socialization is the emergence and gradual development of the self or ego. Okay, it is in the terms of the self their personality takes shape and mind comes to the functions. Everyone who is alive in our society has a consciousness of self. When a child is born, it has no consciousness or of itself or of others. It is the society that teach him the concept of the self. Okay, with the passage of the time, every individual or the child learns about that he is an alone and separate human being. He has to think about himself so that he can get the benefits, so that he could be recognized as the self imagination. Okay, then comes the self is social. Okay, the term self is often used to mean self image. George Herbert Mead would rather regard self as the purely social in nature. Okay, George Herbert Mead is actually a theorist. He has talked about the theory of the behaviorism, and in it, here the point self is more exaggerated by him. Okay, he learns that they are distinct beings and that he too has individuality. Okay, he is trying to say that there are such things I, me, and myself. Okay, help the process of the self discovery. These are the words of the George Herbert Mead. Okay, little children answer to such questions as what is your name and whose boys are you, etc. Would emphasize the idea of the self in relation to others. Okay, then comes the types of the socialization. If we are talking about the what are the main types of the socialization, then these four are the important types of the socialization. First one is the primary socialization. Second is this anticipatory socialization. Third is the developmental socialization. Fourth is the re-socialization. Okay, first one is the primary socialization is actually the basic point of the individual who is in the world and who is in the process of the socialization. Okay, this is the most essential and basic type of the socialization. It takes place in the early years of the life of the newborn individual. It concentrates on the teaching of the language and cognitive skills, the internalization of the cultural norms and values, establishment of emotional ties, and the appreciation of the other rules and perspectives. Okay, that is the basic type of the socialization, where when individual comes into the world, then he has to understand the what is the rule to live in the world. Okay, he has to understand the basic sensitization and sense of right and wrong, desirable and undesirable, moral and immoral, by trial and and then comes the anticipatory socialization. Anticipatory socialization means men not only learn the culture of the group of the which they are immediate members of the society, they will also learn the culture of the groups which they do not believe, such as process whereby many socialize themselves into the culture of the group with the anticipation of the joining their group. Well, okay, I hope so you understand. People may be socialized into the groups of the which they are already members, or into the members to which they wish to become or attached. Okay, socialization is not a process that takes place merely in early childhood. On the other hand, it takes place or at the different times and places throughout the life. Okay, then comes the developmental socialization. Developmental socialization is actually the process through which when individual becomes the adolescence or at the age of the adult, then comes the new rules that they have to perform, like marriage or new jobs, or passing through the different kind of the responsibilities. They have to be socialized with the time. Okay, this kind of learning is based on the achievements of the primary socialization. It builds on already acquired skills and knowledge. As the adult progress through the new situations such as marriage or new jobs, these requires the new expectations, obligations, and the rules. New learning is added to the and blended with old is relatively smooth and continuous process of the development. Okay, then comes the re-socialization. This is the last type of the socialization. This is a not only do individuals change rules within the groups, but they also change membership groups. In some instances, re-socialization, the stripping away of the learned patterns and substitution of the new ones from for them must occur. Such re-socialization takes place mostly when men are socially role is radically changed. It may also happen in periods of the rapid social mobility. For example, a newly wedded housewives may be forced to become a prostitute in a brothel. Okay, in this instant, the social role of the individual got changed radically. Yes, we can also include one example in it, when the people migrate from one place to another and they have to change the with the new culture. So they mostly people change their dressing patterns or way of talking according to the new culture. That is also the re-socialization. Okay, stages of the socialization. There are the four stages. If I have not included the details of these stages of the socialization, if I include the in this chapter, then our lecture would be so long and it will make you boring. So I am only pinpointing the main topics. We will explain it in the next lecture. Okay, stages of the socialization are the first is this the first stage, the oral stage, then the second stage, the anal stage, third stage is the audible stage, and the fourth stage is the stage of the adolescence. Okay, and we talk about what are the agents who are responsible for this socialization. First one is the family and the friends. Peers are the age mates, teachers, literature, and mass media of the communication. I hope so, though, that you have gotten the lecture and understand what I tried to explain. So, uh, give me your suggestion and your comments about the lecture. If you have any question, you can ask me very frankly. Take care of yourself and be safe.